Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of In the Word. Pray all of you guys are doing well today. Once again, we're still in the midst of the storm, but we're not defeated. And I just wanted to come and share a quick message with you guys, something that I think is very relevant in the midst of these times, and that I think it will be a benefit to all of us. So I wanted to share a couple scriptures with you guys. If you're listening to me on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button. And once you click that button, also do a favor for me. Click the notification bell. It will notify you every time I upload a video. Also, if you're on Facebook, please like the page. If you haven't been to our Facebook page, it is In the Word 7 on Facebook. Come by, like the page, and just, stick with us and hear some of the things we're going to be talking about and check some of the things that we talked about in the past. I believe it'll be a blessing to you. But I wanted to come out of Acts chapter 20 today, and I'm going to be reading verses 33 through 35. This is Paul talking. And once again, I think that this message is going to be very relevant and beneficial to all of us that hear it, and not only hear it, that is a doer of what I'm getting ready to say and talk about. But the scripture says, starting at the 33rd verse, Acts 20 and 33, it says, I have coveted, this is Paul talking, I have coveted no man's silver or gold or apparel. So Paul, he's making things clear right off the bat as he's talking to them. He says, listen, I have envied no man's silver. I wanted no man's silver, no man's gold, no man's apparel. Verse 34 goes on to say, yea, ye yourselves know. He says, listen, this is something that you know, that is a fact, that these hands have ministered unto my necessities and to them that were with me. So he says, listen, these hands, my hands have served unto my needs, and not only my needs, but to the needs of those that were with me. And I think that's such a blessing for us to be able to hear Paul say these words, because here this is the Apostle Paul, an anointed man of God, wrote 2/3 of the New Testament, went super hard when it came to preaching the gospel and sharing the gospel. But yet and still, even though he's all of these things in the Lord, he doesn't feel the need to burden the people. That's basically what he's saying to them. Like, listen, you guys know that I worked super hard with my own hands. I did whatever I needed to do to take care of my own needs. Was Paul against offering and people being a blessing to him? No, but he understood, listen, that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to be a burden to you guys. I'm here to help you get to where you need to get to in the Lord. And if I need to work with my hands to take care of my own needs and to take care of the needs of those that are with me, I am willing to do that. And listen to what he goes on to say in verse 35. And the reason why I say that that's important, because nowadays, and with a lot of different leadership, a lot of different leaders, men and women, you see, sometimes it's the total opposite. You don't hear that kind of talk. You hear, listen, I need to be living better. I need to be driving bigger. Sometimes they're not even satisfied with what they've already been blessed with by those that, they're preaching to every week, or those that they have touched their lives or whatever have you. So I think that's a breath of fresh air to hear somebody so anointed, somebody that wrote many of the books that we preach out of. I just think that's such a blessing. And I think it's an eye opener for many of you guys out there to see also that, listen, sometimes there has to be a sacrifice also on the leadership side. The burden can't always fall on the people. But look what he goes on to say in verse 35. He says, I have showed you all things, still being a blessing, how that so laboring ye ought to support the weak. So he says, so working ye ought to support the weak. The word support there means to hold up, to maintain or provide for with money or subsistence. The word subsistence means the source from which food and items necessary to exist are obtained. So he says, listen, if you are working, or if you have anything that you have gained from labor, you should be looking to support the weak. And he goes on to say, and to remember the words of the Lord Jesus, how he said, it is more blessed to give than receive. Let me say that again. It is more blessed to give than receive. The definition of give there is to present voluntarily and without expecting compensation. So to give something is to give it and not expect anything in return. I want to talk to you guys for a couple of minutes from the topic of there's a given opportunity in the midst of this crisis. This is a great opportunity, guys, for you to give to someone. And that giving may not only deal with money or food. You know, there's a definition of support that says to give courage, faith, or confidence to help or comfort. You know, there may be ways that you can give spiritually by praying for somebody, by sending them some scriptures, helping ease somebody's mental pain that they're going through and all the anxieties that they have because of this virus and this pandemic and these different situations that we have found all of ourselves in. Like, there's so many ways that we could be given on so many different levels. And like they always say, get in where you fit in, but you should be looking for an opportunity and when it presents itself to be a blessing to whoever you can and how you can. Because how many know there's many people, especially when we talk about financially, there's many people that have lost jobs. There's many people that was not prepared for this, that did not have any money saved. I was listening to a lady, she was talking about how that there was 40% of Americans, we're talking about those that are in the United States, that if a $400 bill hit their household, that they would not be able to take care of that. 40% of people. That's a high percentage of people that a $400 bill, if it was to hit them, could not take care of it. And you got all of these people talking about this stimulus package that they're waiting on, which it seems like, day by day, people are being chopped off the list more and more. But even when people receive that stimulus package, there's going to be so many people that's going to probably have to run through that and take care of some of the things that they need to get caught up on. So we should be looking for any and everybody in whatever way we can, whatever area we can, to be a blessing. Now, understand, how many know this is not about, being a blessing in a way that you can't. I remember in 2 Corinthians, our brother Paul is 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 12. He had said, for if there be first a willing mind, basically you got to be willing, to be a blessing and to give and to help someone. He said, it is accepted according to that a man have. So he says, listen, whatever you can give is accepted. This is not about amounts and how little and how much. He goes on to say, and not according to that he have not. He says, listen, be a blessing in any way you can be a blessing. We are not here to be a burden to you. You helping someone should not feel like a burden. It may feel like a sacrifice, but a sacrifice and a burden is two different things. And I love what he goes on to say in that 13th verse. He says, for I mean not that other men be eased and ye be burdened. Look, that's confirmation. He says, I'm not saying make somebody else's life easier and make yours worse or make yours harder. No, I'm just talking about, listen, be a blessing on whatever level you can be a blessing on. And that's what I'm saying to you guys. Listen, this is a great opportunity to show the love of God to whoever we can on whatever level we can, because somebody can show some type of love. Somebody can give on some type of level. Like I said, if you ain't got the finances, you could be praying for somebody. If you don't got the finances, you could be ministering the word to somebody. If you don't have the finances, you may have a few groceries you could take out of your kitchen, out of your cabinet, and give to somebody that you realize may need some help. And so there's many levels and many ways that we can be a blessing in this season. And I think that's what's going to really show the love of God. That's what's going to really encourage people to continue to keep pressing on in spite of what they're hearing and what they're seeing. And I love verse 14. Paul goes on to say, but by an equality, that now at this time your abundance, he said, this is why I'm saying this, but by an equality that now at this time your abundance may be a supply for their want. So he says the place that you are in now, for those that are not in that place, what we read over in the book of Acts, helping those, supporting those that are in a weaker place right now, he says you may be able to supply for their want, that their abundance, there may be a day that they're up and you down, also may be a supply for your want. That there may be equality. That's what this is supposed to all be about. It should be about equality. It shouldn't really be any big I's and little U's. It shouldn't be a whole bunch of people over here eating steak, but this person over here don't got nothing to eat at all. That don't make sense. So if you are out there and you're listening to the sound of my voice, please keep your eyes peeled and your ears open and just see and be a blessing to whoever you can in this season. And I'm not going to sit here. We know that God will also be a blessing to you, but I'm not going to do that because a lot of times that's how we want to get people to give. Oh, God going to give you 100-fold, 1,000-fold. Listen, we need to stop that. We need to stop always running up to the altar with our seed in the air, thinking about what we want God to do for us through this seed. How about we think about who this seed is going to be a blessing to? I heard one of the greatest sayings recently, and it touched my heart, and it'll be something that my friends that I talk to all the time, they're going to constantly hear me quoting, and you'll probably hear it in some future messages. A brother said that there has never ever been a person honored for receiving. And when I thought about that, I said, he's right. When have you ever seen somebody hold a huge honorary service for somebody that was just a receiver or a receiver? Givers are honored. People that are givers and that are blessing the people in their communities all over the world and their families, those are the people that are always honored because they are always looking for an opportunity to be a blessing to someone else. So listen, guys, let's show the love of God. I just firmly believe that God is providing in each of those areas I talked about for us to be a blessing to somebody else. And remember, be a blessing on the level that you are on. This is no pressure. God is not putting any pressure on you. God is saying, listen, give what you can, no matter how small or how big. I'm not looking at it that way. I'm just looking at you gave what you had to give. And that was good enough for me. And that was a blessing to that person. And guess what? The next person that I lead into their life, they'll give what they need to give to continue to help them to get through what they need to get through. And this isn't something that we should just practice in the midst of where we are right now, dealing with this virus. Even by the grace of God, we come out of all of this. That's what we should still be practicing. Who is it that we can continually be a blessing to, especially when things are going well for ourselves? So listen, guys, know that I love you. And remember, this is a given opportunity. This is the greatest opportunity right now you have to be a blessing to someone else in some type of way. Listen, make sure you're being led by God. Let God lead you. But I promise you, He's going to open some doors and give you an opportunity to give to someone else and be a blessing to someone else and not just be looking to receive in the midst of everything that is going on. A week ago, I talked about how there was also a golden opportunity in the midst of this crisis. And I talked about there's something that God is trying to give to us in the midst of all of this, that I hope that many of us that have heard that message are now receiving. And if you have not heard that message, I will leave it at the end of this video. Please check it out because I believe it will be a blessing to you. And if you're on Facebook watching this video, you can go onto our In the Word page and you can find that video on our page. But listen, don't miss your opportunity to give and be a blessing to someone else, and don't miss the opportunity to receive what God is trying to give to you. In spite of how it looks, I know it doesn't look well. I know every time you turn the TV on, it sounds like you're not hearing better news, but know that there are some opportunities in the midst of all of this that's going on that have been provided to us by God that can be a blessing not only to ourselves, but also to others. So take advantage of it, guys. Take advantage of both opportunities. So know that I love you guys, and until the next time we get together, Shalom.